this is going to be, hopefully we'll get everything, all of the learning and the implementation done within an hour. That's my plan. But we have 90 minutes. I don't know if anyone can't stay for 90 minutes, but the last 30 minutes we'll do Q&A and anything else that comes up. I would ask you just to hold, like if you have questions that come up as we're working through, just hold them and I'll try and stop at various points if anyone needs any help. And we'll do it that way. Just curious, who is anybody not using Claude? Just put your hand up if you're not using Claude. Okay, that's a good start because we're working with Claude today.
I'm not using Claude, but I sent you an email, Adrian.
What's that? Sorry?
I'm not using Claude. I sent you an email this morning, but I'm here anyway.
Okay. And then,
Adrian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm not using Claude, but I've been wanting to switch from chat to Claude for quite some time now, so I'm sort of gearing up, but I haven't taken the leap of faith yet.
All right. Well, hopefully today will be that moment for you. And
No pressure then.
You can use both, by the way. I use both. I use chat and Claude, but today's just more Claude focused.
Yeah, it just gets a bit costly when you're doing paid subscriptions, for Claude and chat and then all the other tech stack that you've got. So it starts to add up.
Yeah. Yes, but if I had to choose between paying for one or paying for the other, I'd definitely choose Claude.
Yeah, like I said, it's just the tokens that I'm concerned about. There's no such issue with chat at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, and Onofre, you got your hand up.
Yes, sorry, that I will have like the possibility to chat or something like this, but I am not in all the disposition of all the techniques today.
Okay, no worries. Well, you'll get the replay anyway, so yeah, you'll be able to go back on anything if you need to. Okay, so just what would have? Let me ask another question. Who either went to the last workshop that I did or has watched the replay and who's done the actual work from that workshop? There was a work that we did in the workshop, but then there was also creating a couple of files. Has anybody done that? Okay, a couple of people. That's good. So that is the ideal situation. So basically what we went through on the last workshop was setting up the basics of Claude and ChatGPT to remember who you are and remember the basic instructions. But also then we didn't do it during the workshop, but I left you some homework to go and create a couple of files. And one of them was your voice profile. And oh, hi, Nancy. And the other one was the business context file or business discovery file. So don't worry if you haven't done them. However, I strongly recommend that you do them because they're going to help with everything, especially with what we do today. But it's not going to stop you from doing today's session. So don't worry about that. All right, so let me start. So today what we're going to do is, first of all, set up the basics of Cowork so that it works, remembers who you are, remembers about your business, and just works really, really well for you. And also, I'm going to help you build a project that will actually create LinkedIn articles, a website article, a LinkedIn article, and a LinkedIn post to go with it, all in one go, and also an email if you do email marketing as well. So you'll see when we get into that, but it will do that in your voice and in your field related to your business, because we're going to obviously give you that information. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was AI writing on LinkedIn. Now, a lot of people are using ChatGPT to create content, tweaking it a little bit, throwing it out on LinkedIn, and guess what? It's not working well. And there's a good reason for that, because when you use AI, when you don't put good inputs into AI, it's just going to give you bland generic output. And that's what's happening, right? It's driving me nuts. But LinkedIn is cracking down on it, which is great. So that's not what I'm going to show you what to do today. I'm going to show you something else. But what I wanted to show you is, let me just share my screen for a second. I wanted to show you, where you guys gone? A couple of, so I don't follow many people at all on LinkedIn. In fact, I only follow 3 or 4. And there are 2 guys in particular that I follow. One is Ruben Hassid, because he's just the best AI guy, in my opinion. And the other one is Matt Barker, this guy. Oh, what happened? That's not good. All right, I'll find his post in a moment. Let's start with Ruben. And so this guy, Ruben, has 900,000 followers, and his content is awesome. He writes about AI. But let me just show you something. When you grab his content and you use a tool like this, GPTZero, if I paste his content in there and scan it, then I'm just using the free version, as you can see. You can see the AI detection comes out at 91%, okay? But when where's that gone? Okay. When I copy Matt's, hold on a second. Just grab the link.
Adrian, just while you talk about Ruben, have you got access to his GDoc suite with all his Claude stuff available? He puts everything in there.
I'm part of his community, so I have access to everything, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm actually an ambassador in his community. So yeah, I've got all that stuff. So so this is another guy that I follow. Now he's got like 200,000, but this guy, in my opinion, is the guy for content, right? And let's just do the same and put his in. Scan. And scan that. And you can see it's completely human, right? 100% human. Now, the point is that I'm making here, both of these pieces of content, in my opinion, are equally as good and very valuable to me personally. And the fact that this one is clearly written by AI, well, it doesn't bother me, and it shouldn't bother you. It shouldn't bother most people. And these AI checkers are not 100% anyway, and they're checking for certain patterns. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is, don't be afraid to use AI to help you write, because if you don't, people are just going to pass you. They're going to, you're not going to be able to keep up with other people, with your competition, and that's going to be a problem. So I just wanted to show you there's a bunch of tools like this out there that you can use, but if you're curious and you want to see if someone's content is AI or not, then it's app.gptzero.me. In fact, I can put it in the chat for you. Okay. So that was just sort of a quick thing that I want to show you. Now what I wanted to show you is how to get Claude Cowork set up initially the right way. So I've created another one of these fill in the blanks things for you here, but I've put it on my website this time. In fact, I've put all of the templates on the website now. So if you want the very latest versions, just go on my website, click on resources, and you'll see them all there. So let me put that in the chat as well, in case anyone doesn't have that. All right, so this is the same kind of format as the last workshop. And if you just follow these instructions here, you'll see there's a bunch of fields that you fill in that are going to help you create this little instruction set down here, which you can then copy and paste directly into Claude Cowork. So I've got, if you want to use my examples, just click on this button here, load my examples. And if you want to clear them all and just put your own stuff in from scratch, just press clear all, and you can do that, okay? I would recommend that you click on mine and then just modify them. Now, there's things in here similar to what we did last week, But obviously your name, your folder name, which I'll show you in a moment, and then all these different folders here. Okay. And then some naming conventions here. And that gives you this final thing here. Now, if we just go through this quickly, so basically every time you use Cowork, it's going to do this. It's going to go and find this folder, and I'll show you this in a moment. And it's going to read all the files inside this folder. And then it's going to check if anything relates to a project that already exists and go and read that folder. And these are the actual folders. So there's two read-only folders. One of them is the About Me folder, and that's where we're going to put these files, these two files, which I'll talk about in a moment. And the other one that I use is brand and design. Now, I don't know if you guys have used Claude Design, but it is so powerful. You'll never need to use a designer again. And basically, this is where I put all of my branding stuff, everything that I use to set up my Claude Design and, build a website, all that kind of stuff. So all this layout and everything is all built by Claude Design. And that's where those files go. We're not going to do this today. Maybe I'll do that in a different workshop, but it's worth having something like this. And then there are the right folders, of which there are three. There's the projects folder, the outputs folder, which is kind of like a catch-all, and an archive folder. Okay. And then there's just something on, I'm a stickler for naming my files. So I have this, and then there's some operating rules down here. So before we do this though, let me just show you what you need to set up on your computer. And the people who are using Cowork, I'll put you in a breakout room at some point so you can go and do this. But here's what I recommend. Whether you're on Windows or Mac, you should have, on Mac, it's a documents folder, and on Windows, it's my documents. And I would recommend doing it there. Now, this has been difficult for me because I generally work in Google Drive. I use Google Drive for, let me turn this on so you can see. I use Google Drive for desktop so that all my Google Drive folders are shown here and everything's in here. But Claude Cowork sometimes has trouble with connecting to Google Drive. So my recommendation is do this in your documents folder. So, and here's what you should set up. So set up, and just a note here as well, I always use capitals when I do this so that I can see which folders I've created and which folders are automatically created by Claude. So anything in capitals is me, and anything other than capitals is actually what Claude's created. So these are the important ones: About Me, Archive, Brand and Design if you want it, Outputs, and Projects. Okay, everything else doesn't really matter too much, but you can put whatever you want in there. And then these two here, Artifacts and Scheduled, are actually created by Claude. Okay, so if you have the two files, and there are two versions of each of the files. There's the long version and the short version. And Adam, I know you're worried about token usage. So you can create short versions of the files. So the core files are your voice profile. And basically you go through an hour interview to create that, and your business discovery profile, which is all about your business. Now, the outputs are going to be sort of mid-size files. And if you want to reduce them, let me just show you how that's done quickly. I don't know what it's called. There you go, prompt toolkit. Okay, so and I'll send you all this stuff afterwards, okay? This is where you create the files. Got instructions here. You got your voice profile interview and your business discovery interview. If you want to make the smaller files, then just run this prompt to reduce it and run this prompt to reduce the business discovery profile. Now, there is a small trade-off. When you use the smaller files, it might affect the output a little bit negatively. You might not get quite as good an output, but for me, it's I mean, I always double check and go through everything afterwards anyway, so it's not a problem. But just so you know, and the way Claude works in something called Markdown files, MD files. So it's best to always feed it these type of files. You can give it Word documents and Google Docs and that kind of thing, but it uses more tokens when you do that. Okay, let me go back. If you guys want to, so let me just stop sharing for a moment. So just remind me, who's using Cowork again right now? All right. So I'm going to create a breakout room and you guys can go and set all that up. So set up that folder structure and create that file. And then when you're done with that, come back into the room and I'll show you what to do with it. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so this project is, and the reason, okay, so there's a few different ways you can work in Cowork and in Claude in general. You can work in projects, you can work just in the chat, you can create skills, and skills and projects are kind of similar, but they do have some differences. A skill is great if it's a task that you do a lot and it's pretty straightforward. It's just a set of instructions, you execute, and that's it. The advantage you get with projects, for me, there's two advantages. One is I have a team, so we have 5 people on the team, and I can just share projects with all of them. And the other advantage is you can load stuff back into the project to either refer to or have it learn from, etc. And that's kind of the advantage. And the reason this is built in a project is twofold, because everything that you create, it will go back into the project and the project will be able to refer to it. So, for example, if you have a website newsletter, it's a really good idea to backlink from each article to other articles for SEO. And if you follow this process, then you'll be able to do that. In fact, it will do it automatically, if that makes sense. So every newsletter you create, it will look for a backlink that it can drop into your existing newsletter, and then it will include that with the final output, which is really useful. Okay, so these are the instructions. Now, there's a link here to the prompt toolkit, which is the file that I showed you, which will create those files, those other 2 files. And this is what you need each time. So you can feed it pretty much anything, even whether it's a rough draft or a transcribed voice note or a video transcript or a podcast, or just tell it what you want. Or if you've written a newsletter previously, you can just take that, drop it in here and update it. It will pretty much do anything you want. Again, this says here, this is strongly recommended, these files, and there's 2 versions of each, and it still runs even if you don't. Okay, I'll show you how in a minute. So the ideal scenario is using Claude Cowork if you work on your own. But if not, if you don't have the paid version, it will still work, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. Okay, and then when the Cowork people come back, I'm going to show you how to do the Cowork version. So the first thing to do is copy the project instructions below and paste them into a new project's instructions field. So you can also, there's an option here to download the files, the markdown files, if you want to, and I would suggest doing that and just saving them somewhere. So I'm just going to click copy for now on the project's instructions, and then I'm going to go to Cowork. I'm actually going to, that's where I was testing. I'm going to Just archive that. Right, so what Claude has literally just changed in the last couple of days. Sorry, the air conditioning's got me. And they change things all the time. So this is different from what it was a couple of days ago. So look out for that. What you're going to want to do is click on New Project. And I'm going to call it. One second, guys. Air conditioning killing me. And just call it Newsletter Copywriter. Oops. That is the Brummy accent. Copywriter. And don't add a folder, just create the project. Excuse me. Okay, so this is our project. There's nothing in it yet. Then what we're going to do is click on instructions here and just paste what's on your clipboard, which is all of the instructions, into the project instructions and click on save. Okay. Then if you have your two files, we're going to attach them to the project here. So click on this little plus button and upload from device. And I'm just going to go, where was that? Sorry, give me a sec. These, I'm going to put all these files in. I'm just going to do this, put these two files in there. Okay, so open those. So this is my About Me file, and this is my business context file, the short versions. Click on those and attach them here. Okay, now I do one more thing, and it is this. So this README file here is basically the instructions on how to use this. Okay, now they're in Markdown format, which means they're kind of hard to read. Personally, I find them hard to read because they have all these, hashes and asterisks for the formatting. But what you can do, you can download that, but you can also copy this and then create I'm just going to create a new document anywhere. You can create a new Google Doc. All right, so I always do this in Google Docs. I'm pretty sure you can do this in Word as well, but I stopped paying for Microsoft because I never use it. And I'm paying them like 150 euros a year or something. But so I can't show you in Word, but if someone knows otherwise, I'm pretty sure you can do exactly what I'm about to do in Word as well. So if you want to turn this into a human, so if I just, if you paste it as is, it's in this horrible format, right? It's really hard to read. But if you do this, go to Tools, go to Preferences, make sure Enable Markdown is checked. And then if you right-click, you have this option here to paste from Markdown. And what that does is format the document properly, so it's much more human readable. Okay, these are all your instructions, basically. Okay, so there's 3 sets of instructions. This is, what they are exactly, choose your path, whatever, but this is how you actually use it here. Okay, and then what I do is you could do this in Word, but I do it in Google Docs. If you just do that, go back to copy the URL, go back to here, then click on plus, you'll see I've got the Google Drive connector enabled. Then you can just paste the URL into there and it attaches that Google Doc to the project eventually. I forgot to name it, but that's okay. It will go back to that same document. Okay, so
Short interruption, Adrian. Sorry, do we keep the breakout rooms going? The 10 minutes are.
No, we can. Hopefully, everyone's had enough time.
So I close them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so what that does is give you a quick link back to that document. Oh, where's he gone? So it should say the README. In fact, let me just do that. Hold on. Let me name it and then do it again. So basically, you've got your human readable instructions on hand. So every time you want to get to the instructions, they're here, and you can do exactly the same with a Word doc. If it's a Word doc, you would just upload from your device and upload the actual Word file. Okay. And the other thing you're going to do with this is every time you create a newsletter or a document, upload it back to the document, whether you do it in Google Docs or Word, it doesn't matter, but upload it back to the project. So first of all, so the project can learn from it. But secondly, if you put the URLs to the published articles in each document, it can then also apply the backlinks, and it will apply the backlinks. Okay. All right. Are there any questions on that so far?
In terms of the backlinks, do you just create a document, just drop the links in?
Sorry, say that again, Simon.
If you wanted to get it to look at all your articles with the backlinks, just create another document, put the links in there, and just add the links as you go.
Yeah, I'll show you what I mean in a moment. But yes, basically you do. You create the document, you publish it. The final step is put the link back in the document at the top, and then drop it back in the project, and then the project can literally backlink for you. Cool. All right, now that's how you do it for just a chat project. If you're using Cowork, then let me just do this. I will get rid of that. Delete project. So let me just stop sharing for a second. So the guys who are using Cowork, did everybody get their folders set up? Yeah? Okay, good. So now let me show you guys what to do. Show my screen. So it's the same first few steps. Click on New Project. And we'll call this 2. And before you click on Create Project, click on Add Folder here. And then go and find in your documents, go to your Cowork folder, your projects, and find your newsletter copywriter. Or if you didn't create that already, create the newsletter copywriter folder. Now this one in projects, I don't use capitals because Claude shouldn't create any folders here. So this is just in normal case. And click on Open. All right, and then go back to our page, go back to this, click on project instructions, just click on copy and paste the instructions in. You can double check that it's all good, it's got a version number and everything, and create project. Okay. And this time you can do the same. You could add that same. Let's do it actually. So we can add this same Google Doc. So the people who are in the breakout room, I'll just do this quickly once again. basically from here, we created a README document. Now the README is just the instructions, okay? And the way I did that was I just clicked on copy. I created a new Google document, and to make it human readable, I clicked on tools, preferences, made sure this is enable Markdown. And then I'll just delete all this. If you just do a normal paste, it comes out in this horrible formatting. But if you do a right click and paste from Markdown, then it's all formatted for you. And you've got all of the headings and stuff here. It's much easier to read. Okay. And then if you want to have this on hand all the time for your projects, you can copy that and just attach the document to the project. Oh, it's not working. This is brand new. They've only done this in the last couple of days, so bear with me here. There you go. I had to search for it by title. Okay, so every time you want to open that, you can just click on it. It takes you straight to the document, to the instructions document. So that's the project created. Now, you don't actually need to do anything else because your instructions are already set up, your global instructions, to read those two files, so they're done. And in a moment, I'm going to show you how to use it. Let me just stop sharing for a second. Okay, is that clear for everyone? Yeah? No questions? Okay, cool. Let me share again. Okay, so now I'll just give you a quick demo of this and how to use this. So, well, let's put up the instructions first and see what they say. So if you scroll down to this one, how to use it each week. So start a new chat inside the project. Now, I strongly recommend every time you create something new, always use a new chat. It keeps your token usage down, and it's the best way. It's always best to start with a clear chat so it has fresh context. Do not use read saving line. It tells you which files it found. So when we do this, it should tell you what it found and what it didn't find. Give it your rough draft, paste something in or attach it or whatever. Answer any questions if the draft is thin. Read the plan and approve it. This is important. Open file, publish, see below. So what I'm going to do is give it a document that, so help me create a newsletter on how AI is affecting the coaching industry. I'm going to give you a research document that I've already created that I want to build from. So let me go and find the document. And I think it's, right, so I've got this in Markdown. Is it that one? No. I'm going to get, so I've got this in a Google Doc, actually. This one. No, it's not that. It's this one. This is a bit more baked. Okay. So I'm just going to copy that URL, paste it in there. Now, this may or may not work. If it doesn't, we'll see. And by the way, I'm using Sonnet 5 for this. Again, it's just to keep tokens down. Sonnet 5 is generally good enough for writing. If you want really good outputs, you can use Opus 4.8, but I would never use Fable for this. Fable is going to really burn your tokens. So yeah, I would recommend Sonnet 5 is good enough. but it is a little bit slower. And you can, I've got it set to ask me permission when it does things here, but you can click this and skip all the approvals if you want to do that. Okay.
Adrian, while it's thinking,
Yeah.
so I know you gave it a research article. How much do you get it to balance between kind of research and storytelling in your newsletters?
So this particular one, and this is not probably not as advanced as yours, Nancy, but this particular one is set to follow a particular format for newsletters. So you can do that in the instructions, we can change that, but it's yeah, this is like a standard formatted for newsletters basically.
Got you.
So yeah, but we'll see in a moment. It should ask a couple of, all right, so this says here, I found your about me and business context files. I've read the research doc. I'm running your file, blah, blah, blah. The research is strong, basically. So it's going to start just asking me a couple of questions and going through. Now, what I want you guys to do is do this for yourselves. Okay. So everybody who's got Cowork set up, obviously go and do that and just start it and you'll see. And I just want you to get it going. I just want you to confirm, it will confirm to you that everything's set up properly. It will either tell you that it found the files or it didn't. If it didn't, you have a problem. Or if you're not using Cowork, it will tell you and it will do a little interview to get the minimum information of your voice and stuff about you, and then it will create from there on. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to do that. And then we'll meet back here and we'll keep going. But I want you to actually just get it going and experience it for yourself. And hopefully there won't be any bugs. If there are, tell me and we'll iron them out. But yeah, so 5 minutes or so, and I'll shout, or just, if you are ready, put up your digital hand when you've got it moving.
Is there an advantage either way to use chat or Cowork?
Cowork is, so there's 4 versions or 4 different things in Claude. So you've got Claude Chat, which is the same as kind of ChatGPT. Where you guys gone? You've got Claude Code, which is for writing software and a lot more complex stuff. Claude Design, which is awesome for creating stuff design-wise. And Cowork. And Cowork kind of bridges the gap between chat and code. It's agentic, so it actually does stuff. And you can have it work inside your computer by setting it up to work in folders where it actually writes, reads, creates, drops stuff in there, moves stuff around, updates spreadsheets, all that kind of thing. Chat can't do that. It's very limited and very limited. But it just doesn't have that capability, whereas Cowork does. Does that make sense?
Yes, I am discovering more about Cowork and how it can actually do things for you rather than copy and paste. So
the reason I recommend using it for you guys, I don't use it that much because I work with a team. So I actually share projects and stuff, and you can't share projects, or at least you couldn't, and maybe that's changed now, but you can't share Cowork projects because Cowork works on your computer, okay? Whereas chat works in the cloud. But Cowork works really well with files. And when you give it context files, that's where it really shines. So it makes sense to do that.
Yeah, I've only just discovered the other day that I started one Cowork project on my laptop and it doesn't transfer to my desktop, which is quite annoying.
It's important to know that. That's the limitation of it.
So. And now Cowork works on the mobile as well, because I started something didn't realize this, I was doing it on my iPad. But again, it doesn't transfer, which is Yeah, it confused me for a bit, but then I worked it out. But that's brand new. This is all fairly new, the way they've moved things around.
Yeah, it changes every week. There's an update and they move things around and you get lost, but it's yeah, it's moving rapidly. Okay, so before I go to the next part of this, I just wanted to, I don't know if everybody knows what I do, but obviously, you know, I'm going to be doing more of these workshops in the future. My business is actually a kind of done for you service where we do everything for our clients. We do all this stuff basically and more. This is a tiny piece of what we do. And I have no problem sharing this with you, with anybody, you know, who wants it, because my view is that if I share it with 100 people, maybe one or two will need my actual services. And that's why I do this, part of why I do this. But I also love sharing. And if anyone's interested in how I work with my clients and how we can help you, then I'll drop my booking link in the chat, and we can have a conversation to see if, oh, it's not that one. We can have a conversation to see if what we do is a fit for your business. I do actually have a client on, and I'm going to put her on the spot, and it's Nancy. And I haven't primed this at all. I haven't prepared Nancy for this. So, Nancy, sorry, I'm putting you on the spot.
It's all good.
I'm so glad you joined today because I wasn't expecting any clients on here. So, if you wouldn't mind, how is it working with Link Coach for you?
I will tell
It's
you
16 hours.
that this is the best decision I have ever made. I have
Wow.
worked with all kinds of coaches, and I've often felt pulled off track from where I'm trying to go and not having clarity in data to support if I'm making success or not making success. And one of the things that so I reached out to Adrian at the start of this year. I had known Adrian from quite some period of time ago. And I was really clear. I said, you know what? I don't want generic programs. I don't want to be told all these different ways to do things. I want somebody to help me, keep me focused, get me on track, and make progress in my business. And what has been great is Adrian helped me initially just get clear again on who I was, what my target audience was, what I was trying to promote. So I work with engineers, helping them move up the corporate ladder by learning how to communicate better. And since I started working with Adrian, my LinkedIn has blown up. Yesterday, I actually had somebody read one of my newsletters who is a consultant working with some engineers and said, "Hey, Nancy, how do you work? Because I would like to recommend you." And it's because I had written a newsletter on LinkedIn and had been putting content out that felt really aligned. About a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, Adrian had kept going, "Nancy, you know, we can do this done for you service." And I'd been resisting and resisting and resisting. And I'm going to tell you, I kick myself for having resisted so much, because all of the activities that I don't like to do, which are all of the reach outs and the connections and the DMing on LinkedIn and going in and having time to comment on different experts in the field, is just exhausting to me. And he has this great virtual assistant that uses the AI content that we've put together, and she is doing it. We've landed people on coaching calls. Every week, I get a clear report. This is how many invites I've sent out. This is all the data, the strategy, the results. This is what's working. This is what's not working. And so for the first time, I have clarity, and I am not doing all the work. I actually get to sit back and do the thing that I really love, which is coaching people. So if you're questioning, should I jump on it, I'm going to tell you, best decision I have ever made.
Thank you. So I wasn't expecting that such positive feedback. So I really appreciate that. And that just motivates me to do more. So I really appreciate it. And I promise I hadn't paid Nancy to say that. Okay, cool. I'm not going to pitch. I just wanted to share, guys, if you're interested. I know, I do make these workshops, pay what you feel, just because it helps to, keep them going. But I have no problem people coming for free and taking the information for free, because like I said, it's good for me to give back, and I only need 1 or 2 clients per whatever, and that's enough for me. So, okay. All right, let's keep going. So first of all, did anybody get to actually start to build their newsletter? No. Obviously, my instructions weren't that good. Maybe I need to give you a bit more time, but you're going to get a chance to do it afterwards anyway. And maybe, maybe we'll give you some more time there. But let's keep going with mine so I can show you, and I'll show you the whole process from start to finish. Is everyone good with this? Good to keep going in this direction? Yeah, cool. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm going to read. And by the way, you'll notice that I don't type with Claude. I don't type with anything anymore. I shared a tool last time, and I don't have it to hand now, but I can share it with you again. I'll share it in the follow-up email, because when you work with AI as much as I do, I'm probably working with AI 4, 5, 6 hours a day. Your fingers are going to get tired, and I strongly recommend using some sort of dictation tool, whether you use the inbuilt ones, which I don't think are very good in any of them, or you use the one I use, which I'll share, but it makes a big difference. And it's made me, I've gone from about 40 words per minute, because I'm such a bad typer, to about 110 words per minute. And I speak very slowly. I think as I'm speaking, so it could actually be faster. But anyway, just wanted to tell you guys that. So let's read this. The research is strong, basically. Give me a specific time and source. All right, so I'm going to make some stuff up. A real client prospect told you then sells that A was in the pipeline when it's actually going on as oversupply, weak differentiation. Okay, so I'm just going to make it up. Sorry, Nancy, I'm going to use you again. Is Nancy still on the call? No, she's not on the calls. Oops. I shouldn't have recorded that. All right, Nancy, if you're watching the replay, sorry, I'm using you. So last week, Nancy told me that she was worried that the number of inquiries were dropping, and she's spoken to other coaches and they said the same thing, and they're blaming it on AI. And by the way, guys, this is actually half true, because this is a conversation I've had with a couple of people, and what it's thinking. To put your mind, and this actually inspired me to do some research, which is the document that I gave it. And the research, I researched it on Perplexity, on Gemini, on Chat, on Claude, and everything came back and said no. And if you think about it, coaching and consulting, depends what sort of consulting you do, it's an industry that people are going to need more and more, because as AI does take over, then jobs and businesses that have much more human contact are going to be more prominent and more important. I think the next couple of years are going to be a bit hairy, but I think after that, coaching is going to be even more necessary and more in demand. Okay, anyway, that's my rant over. So it's come back and said, okay, that's the start of it, but I need an actual scene, not just a headline. A few things I need from you on Nancy specifically. Who is she? What? Okay, so sorry, Nancy. So Nancy is a communication coach. She works with engineers, helping them to have better conversations, better communication, and get promoted. What I said to her is I doubted that AI was to blame, because it's probably more necessary than ever to have a coach nowadays. And although people use AI to a degree, people who are serious about coaching understand the need for human contact in the loop. I'm just making this stuff up, but anyway. So can you see how, and I don't even check this anymore, because the whisper flow learns how I speak. It makes corrections. It takes out the ums and ahs and that kind of thing. So I can go really fast on my end. And if if you use faster models, you can go much faster on Claude's end as well. But whilst I'm waiting for Claude responses, I do a little bit of weight training. So my wrists have become really strong since I started doing this. All right, so I'm just going to try and push this through as quickly as possible so we get the output and I can show you what to. All right, what's the one action you want to take? So, and you can see book a call, reply to this, take an assessment quiz, and get it to take the quiz. And guys, I would love to get your feedback when you use this because I can keep developing this and improve it. And I can even give you another project to improve this project, if that makes sense. So please tell me in a week or so if you use it, how it went. Even if it was a bad experience, I'd love to know because I can create version 2. All right, so it said, good, that's a real usable. Okay, I need the specifics. What's the URL? Okay, we'll give it the URL to my quiz. There you go. And I can already see one improvement that we can make to this, which is have a field somewhere that you can actually put the URLs in so that the project knows the URLs before it builds anything. Right, what's the quiz actually called? All right, I'm going to be lazy. Can you just read the landing page, please, and take all the information from there? Force it to do some work rather than it making me work. And this, so when we build these projects for clients, they're obviously very, I tailor the instructions. It's actually quite a long process. It is a generic one, guys, but it will do the job. Just keep that in mind. And feel free to try and modify the instructions yourself. But I have a specific project to do that. All right, so it's telling me what it's going to do. Got it. Working on the headline, propose. I'm not going to read all this. It'll take ages. I'm just going to say, okay, go ahead. It's probably got something wrong, but you can look at the plan and tell it where it's going wrong or tell it where you want it to improve, and it will do that. And it's saying, do you want an email teaser? So if you have something like WordPress or if you have Jarby or a platform where you can also send emails, then it offers you an email teaser. I'm going to say yes, why not? But if you're not going to email it out, then you don't need to do that. What I always recommend is, so this is going to create 3 things. It's going to create an article that you can use both on your website, if you have that, and on LinkedIn. It's going to create the email teaser if you want it to do that, and it's going to create a LinkedIn post to go with the article. And I always recommend, if you do have your own blog or newsletter or whatever, publish there first, index it on Google, that's a whole different topic, but repurpose it on LinkedIn. And if you don't have your a blog or a newsletter, publish it on LinkedIn anyway, because it's going to get, honestly, if you create a LinkedIn newsletter, it has to be a newsletter, not just an article. It does get a lot of traction, a lot more traction than most other things on LinkedIn, actually. And the beauty is when you get, I've got, and I'm just ramping mine up again now, but I've got like 5,000 subscribers on LinkedIn. And every time I create a new newsletter, every single one of those subscribers will get a notification on LinkedIn. And if it's enabled, they'll also get an email telling them that I've created a new article, which means it gets a lot more visibility. All right. I don't know if I haven't used chat this much in a long time, so I don't know if this happens on chat, but this time of day with Claude, it can be slower than normal, unfortunately. It's between like lunchtime and dinner time in Europe, which overlaps with the morning in the US. When the US and Europe overlap, that's when the usage tends to slow down. All right. So it's building the file. Everything this builds, the output, it always builds in a markdown file. And the reason for that is it's just much easier to copy and paste things. If you have to copy and paste stuff from the chat thread, it's actually quite hard to grab the right stuff. So you'll see what I mean in a moment. Big file. And my advice is also work in markdown files wherever possible, because they're much lighter and it's much easier for Claude. It has to do less work. So a markdown file might take 5,000 tokens for it to read, whereas the same file in Word format might take 50,000. So keep that in mind. All right, so this is the output here, right? So AI is killing coaching, or is AI killing coaching? It's giving me an SEO title, all this stuff. Body of the article. That's all good. All right, so I'm not going to read this, but I'm going to show you what I do. So what I would do, you can either download this or show a folder. Then I could just basically copy it from here and move it to another folder wherever I wanted, or I can click on copy, okay, and go back to Google Docs, do the same thing again, paste from Markdown, and now it's in human readable format. All my stuff is in here. So then what I would do, it just tells you everything that it's doing here. So you can put a little table in here. Obviously, then you would go through and modify this yourself and just make sure that it's in your voice. But I'm just going to do this. Copy all that, and I'll show you on LinkedIn. I won't actually publish it, but you can paste it straight in here and it's all formatted, same as it is in the Google Doc. Upload, put the title in, etc. And just go test. You put your SEO stuff in here, click on settings. You've got an SEO title and an SEO description that is in the document at the top here. So title and description, I'll just put the description in. So that's all done. All right. I would put an image, but I'm not going to do that because I'm name time. I'm going to then here, this is where you get to post about the article. And again, that is in here. If you go here, LinkedIn feed post. And here, again, you can obviously edit it first. Just click on copy, go back to here, drop it in there, and you've got a post about the article itself. And the reason this is important, if you don't do that, it's not going to get as much traction in the feed because it will go sort of straight, just go straight to the article. But you want to have a post in there that's like a teaser of what is in the article so that people click on it and then go and read the article. It will just improve your reach, basically. Okay. That's it. If I'd have put an image in there, the image would show here, but because I didn't, it's just showing this. I'm not going to actually publish that because I haven't checked it. But what I am going to do is just name the document. And if you want to stick to the naming convention, it always puts the name in here in a sort of standard format. If you just click in this field, it automatically copies it over. You don't have to copy and paste. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, copy that, go back to the project itself. And I think I can add, yeah, there you go. It's not finding it, so I'm going to do it with the title. So they've literally changed this on me in the last couple of days. So let's try it with the title. No, it's still not finding it. All right. Just see if it refreshes. One thing I forgot to do. So if I had have published that on link or where, if I did on your website, but if not, you can put the link to your LinkedIn article. Just put the URL there at the top. Okay. Let's see if we can get this to upload now. All right, that's not working. So what I'm going to do is basically go to that folder. And then move it. Move that one. I don't know. Where was it? It's in market research, wasn't it? Sorry, this has thrown me. I think it's that. Yeah. So I'm just going to copy that, move it to my Claude Cowork folder. I'm going to paste it there. So if it was a Word doc, you could do that. Now, that's a little bit of messing around that I've had to do just because of some bug in Claude that it wasn't finding the document, which happens from time to time. And what I'll probably do once if it's more stable, I'll go back to setting Claude Cowork up in my Google Drive because that's where I work pretty much exclusively. But I have found that it's given me problems. That's why I've just set it up in my documents folder. So the moving stuff around is a bit of a pain, but yeah, there you go. Now you can see it's there. It's inside the folder. And what it will do the next time I create a newsletter, it will read this and it will decide, okay, is there a way I can put a backlink into the next article that I'm going to write? Okay. That was a lot. I know. Sorry about that. Any questions? Or are you all just are your brains fried? Have I literally fried your brains? I guess I did. Definitely fried Nancy's. You just disappeared.
All good, just hot. Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah. It's been good, Adrian. To be honest with you, I think the replay is needed just for my slow everything down.
Yeah.
Watch you do it, then do it, stop, and do that.
Yeah. What I'll do, I will on the actual page, the resource pages themselves, I'll probably put a video on each of the pages. What I'll also do, I think I've tried to cram too much into this session because we've really done two things here, but I just wanted to make sure you went away with something you could actually use. So my bad. I'll keep that in mind for next time. But what I will do is I will put the specific video, create a short video that walks you through step by step, because in a live environment, it's a bit different, but so that you've just got the specific video for each step that you need to do. So
Great.
I'll do that for you.
Can I ask you, Adrian, in terms of before we go through this entire process that you've shown today, because I've been watching, but at the same time I'm sort of waiting for the recording. Are you suggesting that before we go through and action this, even when you do provide those videos and helpful sort of guidelines on how to do stuff, the previous webinar that you did, go do that properly,
Yes.
100%, and then come and do this, yeah?
Yeah, they need videos as well, those resources, because I didn't really show you how to create those two files. The instructions are there, you can figure it out, but I think they need videos to be really valuable. So yeah, I do recommend that absolutely, Adam, because those two files, your voice profile for writing and your business context for just to know everything about you and your business, I just make things in ChatGPT. Also, if you want to keep using ChatGPT, the only thing is in ChatGPT, you'll have to create projects each time and put those files in every single project. Although Codex, I haven't used it much yet from ChatGPT, is obviously the competition to Claude Cowork. So maybe you can do it there. But those files are invaluable because they basically give the AI all the context it needs about you and your business.
Sure. Quick question while you're talking. If I've got ChatGPT, can I use Codex if I'm a paying customer, can I use Codex?
I think so.
Or is that
Yeah, I think so. It's a separate app that you have to download, but I'm pretty sure it's included on your plan. Whether you hit the token limit thing on ChatGPT, I don't know. I've downloaded it, Adam, and I had a little play with it, but I haven't used it in anger yet.
Yeah, fair enough. That's all right.
I mean, Cowork's so good that it's going to be really hard to get me away from Cowork, to be honest with you. But let's see. Lee, did you have a question?
Dude, I love you. I mean, all right, I'll be honest with you. I didn't do the work that you put to us in this because I felt a little bit wobbly around it. I had to nip out to take a couple of urgent calls, and I'm not convinced yet that I've got actually Cowork set up. So I'm going to wait for the replay on that. But from what you've just shown me, that's going to make. I think I said the same last time. That's going to make such a difference. I've created the first two profiles. They're really good. I had to make some small changes, and I'm going to make some additions to it. But I highly recommend doing that work as well. But this is just like something else. So thank you very much.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
very good.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So while I've got all of your attention as well, obviously we want to make these as valuable as possible to you guys. And, this was one that I thought was valuable. It wasn't really one that I asked people about. What sort of topics do you want us to cover? Because obviously, if it's something I know about, but if it's not, that's going to be difficult. But what I think I'll do, if we send out like a poll after this, and you can sort of vote for what you want, but just off the top of your head, has anybody got anything? So a couple of people have asked me about DMs. I was planning on doing that next because what we do with our clients, with Nancy, actually, we actually build something called a DM coach, which is, again, built with your voice profile, your business context and everything else, and also my methodology, which I can do a session on, which is how to DM people, without being spammy and without getting pushed back all the time, how to build relationships, basically. So that was kind of one that I was probably going to do next. But if you guys have other stuff related to LinkedIn and how you can use AI and in your business in general, because if it's something I can help with and do a workshop on, I'd be more than happy to do that. Does anyone have any subjects or anything that they really want to really want help on?
Yeah, if that's all right. So what I'm trying to do in the background is build a repository of my entire repertoire, if that's the right word. And what I'd really like that to do is to have all my, let's call it a book, all my stuff in my book or whatever. And then I can just ask that book a question and it can give me a load of information around that. And from that, I think, okay, so this is what I'm going to be posting about this week, or this is what I'm going to address in this DM to somebody, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I can see how you do that. I mean, this kind of project would do that, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And Cowork is the place to do that. What I would
So-
recommend, if you've got all those documents, Lee, is I would convert them to Markdown format. There's various ways you can do that. Sometimes I'm lazy and I just get Claude to do it, but you from a Google Doc, for example, if you click on download, you have the option to download it as Markdown. And if you do that, it will just make it take up way less space. And then in a project, you could upload all those documents either to a project if you're using chat, or drop them all in a folder if you're using Cowork. And it can basically go through any of those documents. And if you build some kind of index as well,
Yeah.
then that would help.
Would I need to use the prompt from today to put into that, or?
No, I'll tell you what to do. I'll put that in the poll, put something like that in the poll. But if you can just send me a note, Lee, somewhere, giving me a high level description of what it is you want to do. And if it's interesting for other people, I'll build something.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Adrian, can I ask you a quick question? So
Yeah.
for the bit that I sort of focus on, I've got a lot of source data. And so I've got textbook PDFs, I've got downloaded PDFs, that are downloaded websites converted to PDF and stuff like that, Word docs, you name it, and basically what you've just talked about today, I want to get all of that data in, but we're talking quite a substantial amount of information. How risky is that when I try to use Claude Cowork to pull from that file everything to do with a related topic, that because those files are so heavy that it's going to use up a lot of tokens, capacity, whatever you want to call it?
Again, I would convert them to Markdown. If it's the text that you're interested in, not the images and stuff, I would convert it to Markdown.
And what happens if I need the images and use the PDFs?
Then I would have them, I'd probably set it up so that all of the Markdown files are in the root folder, and then anything you need images for, you can have like a subfolder and put the PDFs and stuff in there, anything with images in there.
Yeah,
And
it's like
only,
a full book. Like the book might have like 500-600 pages.
yeah, but what sort of images are in it?
Basic, nothing heavy. It's basic.
Then,
It's normally like diagrams, stuff like that.
yeah,
Calculations, maybe.
yeah. So I would still do it that way. I'd have the Markdown file for just the text, and if you really need an image from the book, I would have that in a separate folder and instruct to only take from there when it needs to, basically.
Okay, so have those as sort of use this for a text and a text sort of option, and then just say for any images, then go to this file for that related topic.
Yeah, and just be specific when you're chatting with it that whether you need images or not. And keep in mind that when you do need images, it's going to use more tokens.
Yeah. All right.
But I mean, everyone, maybe I'm making too big a deal about this, because all that happens when you hit your token limit is you have to stop working for a while on that particular thing. And for me, I mean, I just pay the extra money. I don't care. I'd rather keep working. But I very rarely hit my token limit these days because I'm aware of it. I know that I need to be using Markdown files. I don't use Opus all the time. I pretty much never use Fable because I don't need to. And if it's, if I'm just asking day-to-day questions, I just use Haiku. So, yeah. I just realized we've gone over time, so we need to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, the survivors. Thank you, especially Roxana, for your help, as always. Really appreciate it. Roxana's awesome. I don't think I introduced her at the beginning, but hopefully you know from last time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Roxana saves the day all the time. So, yeah, thanks, everybody. And we'll send out a poll. And, yeah, let us know what you want us to help you with, and we'll do it.
Yeah. Do you still have the recordings to the kit stuff that you did previously, Adrian?
I do.
Is it okay if you could share that? Because I've just recently signed up to Kit and I want to just get a bit more familiar with it and what it's because I'm just want to get my head around the automation for like when I've just created I had a landing page built because it was like from ages ago. I had this piece of work I paid for. It was initially going to be for a website, but then I didn't want the website anymore. So I just wanted to use that before I lose it. So I got them to build me a landing page. Now I've got that, using it as a wait list, but now I want to do like start thinking about lead magnets and email sequence and get that automated so that everything has that automated. So I don't know if that covers all of that.
Covers some of it, but sounds like an idea for a workshop there, Adam. Is that
That'd be
right?
lovely. That'd be lovely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll send out that poll and we'll have another option in there. But yeah, but I do have all those replays. They're just not well organized because I rebuilt my website using Claude and I'm just reorganizing it all now. And I'm going to actually, although everything's on Kit, you can go and find them on Kit. I can just message me on LinkedIn, Adam, and I'll send you the link where they all are.
Cool. That'd be
Everything's kind of
perfect.
in transition at the moment, but they're all there, all the recordings.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers. See everybody.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.